Hi everyone, welcome to Meeting the Pro, a series interview by Globevisa. I'm the host today, Julia from Globevisa's EB5 program department. Today we are thrilled to have Mr. Brandon Meyer here with us. He is the founder of the Meyer Law Group and is also one of the top US immigration attorney in the industry. So today we'll chat deep with Mr. Meyer about two hot topics, H-1B visa changing and the Trump's gold card policy.
Hey, Julia, thank you good to see you again. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss these topics with you and your audience. So my name is Brandon Meyer. I'm the founder and managing partner of Meyer Law Group. We're an immigration law firm specializing in EB-5 and H-1B based in San Francisco with additional offices in New York and Guangzhou. And so at Meyer Law Group, we've been involved in EB-5 for over 25 years now. And so we're always happy to help Globevisa and Globevisa's clients navigate through the EB-5 and other immigration processes as well.
Thank you so much today. And we know you are a great top immigration lawyer in the industry. So what makes you to enter this field of immigration focus on EB5?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I started out a long time ago, basically as a student in Beijing in the early 1990s at Jingmao Daxue. And so
Wow.
then I came out of school and I got hired as a, immigration law field. Started doing immigration law. Realized that I was pretty good at it. It was a good field to work in. And, because the practice I was in at the time did some EB5, but no one else in the firm wanted to work on EB5 matters. So they would all get assigned to me. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. This is more interesting than some of the other aspects of immigration law. And then when EB5 started becoming popular again in around 2006, 2007, the fact that I had some prior EB5 experience because not many people at that time had ever worked on an EB5. So it takes the fact that I had some prior experience in EB5 and the Chinese language and on the ground experience, put those together, and then everything kind of grew from there to where we are today.
Thank you so much for your sharing. And now let's start today's topic. Everyone is talking about the H-1B because there have been 100,000 fee for H-1B visa each person. So this policy brings a lot of chaos recently. So could you please help us to clarify what the executive order actually says?
So this was a real shock that came out last Friday evening in the US, early Saturday morning in China and throughout Asia. And it was, make no mistake about it, it's a direct attack by the Trump administration in a way to try to effectively eliminate the H-1B program in the future. I mean, like most things that the Trump administration does, uh, and I'll go into details. The announcement and policy was frankly incompetently announced. But what the Trump administration has shown the first time, the second time as well, is if they start with something and it fails at first, they keep trying until they eventually figure out how to achieve the objective that they want. We see this, and we'll talk about gold card soon. Gold card's kind of in that second phase of the trial and error. But this H-1B announcement, I mean, it's not a surprise to me that they started targeting H-1Bs. They've been signaling it all along. But the way that they did this announcement, I mean, it was just really bad. And they've kind of spent the next 4 or 5 days correcting it, rolling it back. So what we initially thought it was $100,000 per person at the time they apply for a visa to come to the US, whether as an existing H-1B holder or a new H-1B. That's what caused huge chaos because the announcement came out and basically said, yeah, you have to be back in the US within 36 hours or this fee applies to you. So you had this situation of people rushing back to the US the last minute. Then over the course of the weekend, it kept changing. No, no, this isn't what we meant. What we meant was that It's just a one-time fee and it doesn't apply to existing H-1B holders. We're just going to start applying it in the future to fiscal year 2027 H-1B cap applicants, we start the H-1B cap process next March 2026. So that's where it stands right now. It's just supposed to be, instead of the annual fee, like it was mentioned, it's supposed to be just a one-time fee. Instead of applying to everyone, it's just supposed to apply to new H-1B people starting next March. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions about what this actually means and who it will ultimately apply to. So yeah, it's for now, everything is fine on the H-1B front, but this should serve as a huge warning sign, a huge wake-up call that the Trump administration is going to be spending the next, 6, 12, 24 months trying to figure out a way to effectively kill the H-1B program.
As you see, if you explain that, we see that term that it will affect the new H-1B application after September 21st. So
Mhm.
however, could you please confirm with us whether this policy will be start immediately or it will be some waiting period?
No, so it has it. So that's the confusion. And they went from saying it's starting now to saying no, it's going to start during the H-1B cap lottery season, which starts in March 2026.
Yeah, as we see, this policy will have a bad impact on many companies, such as IT companies. So many people don't understand why this executive order would be happen so suddenly. So what's the real motivation behind it? Why the U.S. government is going to crack down those big companies?
It's basically gangster government, which is if you want to do something, you pay us money. For example, the company Nvidia is allowed to sell AI chips to China, which it wasn't before. What changed? Oh, well, now it's okay for Nvidia to sell chips as long as it pays 15% to the US government. Same thing with H-1Bs. Basically, what they're saying, you big companies, small companies, want to do H-1Bs, you have to pay us money for it. And that's purely what it is. It's just purely shakedown. And I think in this instance with the H-1Bs, they overshot. I can't I really can't see a company being willing to pay $100,000 per H-1B worker. I mean, it's just and I think that's okay too to the US government that if companies pay it, great, that's a lot of money to the government. If companies don't want to pay it, great, that means fewer H-1Bs to the US. So all this is very worrying. And to your direct question, yeah, why was the announcement made the day it was? Well, because the people who are overseas right now that were selected in the cap this year, H-1B cap lottery this year. Sunday was the first day they could start entering the United States before their October 1st start date. So it was directly targeted last minute to try to target people who were coming into the US for the first time on an H-1B visa. And but since the whole thing was unveiled so poorly, they had to backtrack on that. But yeah, so it was designed to target the first time H1 entrants and also yeah, just create chaos.
So, for the majority of our international students, even they are not facing this order now, but will the order bring some bad effect on them?
This order directly impacts F1 students going forward. So if, as the proclamation currently stands, anyone entering the H-1B lottery this coming year, next year, the company will have to pay $100,000 per person. So that will significantly reduce the number of companies willing to sponsor people for H-1B visas.
So, there are few another specific details our audience is very concerned about this order. One is this
Mhm.
100,000 is one one-time fee, but it's only happen to each individual once, or it will happen every time the visa is renewed?
That's a great question. That's still an open question that we don't have clarification on.
So we know another policy happened to H-1B is that the lottery rules just changed. So these
Yes.
two orders have some relationship to each other.
Absolutely. They're absolutely tied to each other. And there's some truth to it. There's a perception out there that certain information technology companies, mostly from India, abuse the H-1B program by sending in lots of people at low wages to replace US workers. There's some truth to that, but it's not the whole story of the H-1B program. There's many H-1Bs are done properly and for the right reasons. So these two orders are directly meant to target those Indian IT service companies because, if you have an H-1B cap lottery that's weighted towards companies paying higher salaries, then presumably the Indian IT service companies will receive less H-1B visas unless they raise their salary offers to the level of, say, Apple or Nvidia or Google applicants do. And so that's the first part of it. And then, yes, since a lot of the individuals that the Indian IT service companies hire on H-1Bs are hired from overseas, that's something else that was that $100,000 fee was directly targeted at them. And so, but it's such a broad brush that for now, everyone applies to everyone, but that was really the core target was those companies that are perceived to be abusing the H-1B program.
Okay, thank you for your explanation about H-1B. We learned quite a lot. So moving on from H-1B, let's talk then about another big breaking news about the gold card. Because the other executive order the same day said the gold
Mm-hmm.
card will implement by $1 or $2 million donation. And this is quite
Mm-hmm.
different from what the Trump said in February about the 5 million
Mm-hmm.
gold card. So the first
Yeah.
questions I will ask you is, what's your reaction when you saw that order?
It's funny, Julia. So I was in Beijing with your Globevisa team in Beijing end of February when the first gold card announcement came out. And it was a huge shock. And what they were saying at the end of February was, the gold card is going to be implemented in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Well, here we
Yeah.
are. It's almost October. And what are we talking about? Oh, we're going to implement the gold card within 90 days. So, I mean, you start looking at this, and it's by the time they might actually implement this, almost a year will have passed. I still, I still think that the gold card will never happen. But nevertheless, to take the proposal at face value, yeah, why did they start off at $5 million and now they're down to 1 million, 2 million, and 5 million? Because I think, again, the first $5 million gold card idea, they didn't think it through and they just announced it and thought that all these people were signing up for $5 million gold cards. But then I think they've realized that demand at the $5 million level just simply doesn't exist. So coming up with this three-tier approach at 1 million, 2 million, and 5 million, I think is basically designed to save face for the overall gold card initiative.
So, as you say last time, we learned that creating a new immigration policy requires the Congress, right? But
Yes.
can the president executive order simply add such new conditions to the existing immigration categories? Because the order says the gold card will add into the EB1 or EB2.
Yeah, so this is something that we're going to see on the H-1B and the gold card side. On the H-1B, before the sort of proclamation changed, a lot of attorneys were spending the weekend preparing lawsuits against the H-1B. When we figure out both when the H-1B $100,000 fee becomes a reality, and if the gold card ever becomes a reality, we are going to see court challenges, and I would be optimistic that those challenges will succeed because yes, H-1B program, EB5, EB1, EB2, EB3 programs, those are all long established laws set by the US Congress. President just cannot change those and add new visa categories and create new benefits and take away from existing visa categories without the permission of the US Congress. I think that's very, very unlikely. And if the Trump administration thought that they could convince Congress to make those changes at once, then it would just ask Congress to do it, and doing these executive order proclamations would not be necessary to begin with.
So the author said the gold card will use EB1A or NIW's quota. Those two categories have high standards of the applicant's background, such as the personal achievement. But the gold
Mhm.
card seems to only care about the money. So here
Yeah.
is some confused about the eligibility. Does it make sense that someone can get AB1 or NIW approval just by donations?
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense because you take someone EB1 or EB2 NIW who's a fantastic scientist and working on cures for cancer or great engineering, and
Yeah.
then now they have to compete for a visa for someone who just has $1 million. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And I don't know why, um, when they came up with that, oh, let's apply gold cards to, I don't know why they chose EB1, EB2. If gold card ever becomes real and then they're taking visas against existing EB1, EB2 quotas, well, there's already significant backlogs in EB1, EB2 for China and India. So basically, like, you know, even if the US government does fast processing of the gold card equivalent I-526E, then that's almost irrelevant because then, if it's EB2 and you're chargeable a China quota, you probably have a 5-year wait, if not longer. So you basically get nothing out of your gold card as the current plan is structured.
So although the order did not mention about the gold card will take the quotas of EB5, but we are still concerned that it may have some bad influence or bad negative impact on EB5 in future. So what's your opinion about the gold card and EB5?
So I think that's certainly a legitimate concern because at the bottom of the gold card order, they mentions something about, oh yes, let's figure out how to kind of, apply the gold card ideas to EB5. Again, I think that's a very the very direct long shot of happening, but it just goes to reveal the mindset of the people in the Trump administration. I'm sure they looked at, how can we replace EB5 with the gold card? I think they realized correctly that they could not do it. So, I think probably now they're going to be looking for ways to try to basically, have the gold card kind of merge with EB5. Again, I don't think they'll succeed, but it seems like that's their long-term intention.
Another thing about the gold card is that gold card application, the applicant will be with expedite processing. The order said that.
Mhm.
But if
Yeah.
they use the EB1 or EB2, will it face the same backlog? What does
Yeah,
it
so
mean? Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. So basically, it's a lie to say that, they're going to give you expedited processing for your gold card.
yeah.
It's it's going to take a lot longer than even the existing EB5 program. Because what they mean by expedited processing is it will approve your equivalent I-526E faster. Well, you
Yeah.
still are stuck in the EB2 backlog that could take many, many years. So yeah, so the expedited processing claim that they are offering is just a total lie.
Another big question about gold card, a lot of people recently care about is the
Mhm.
order does not mention about that the donation for the gold card need to be explained the source of fund as EB5
Mm.
will need to explain the whole source of fund, but
Mhm.
they order didn't mention that. From your perspective of the immigration attorney, do you think it is necessary?
Oh, they didn't directly mention it in the order, but various government officials who were talking about the gold card after the fact said, yes, we are going to vigorously review the applicants. We're going to make sure, extreme vetting. We're going to keep out terrorists and criminals and all these bad people. It's extremely naive for anyone to think that investing in a gold card means no source of fund scrutiny. If anything, it's going to be worse because this is one thing that people don't quite understand. It's like, okay, EB5 and other EB programs they're administered by Department of Homeland Security, who has, I mean, they don't do it perfectly in our opinion, but at least Department of Homeland Security has 35 years of experience in managing the EB5 program. Gold Card will be handled by Department of Commerce, who has zero experience of ever managing any type of program like this. So they're going to have to create an administrative structure, an administrative mechanism for adjudicating gold card petitions from the beginning. And so that takes time. And then, you know, because they don't have experience and don't know what they're doing, yeah, for anyone to come in and think, okay, yeah, if the gold card becomes real on October 1st, and I'm going to apply on October 2nd, and I'm going to be approved on October 3rd, it's just simply not going to happen.
So you think there still need to explain the source of fund because,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And actually,
yeah.
the source of funds requirement may actually be more rigorous than the existing EB5.
Yeah, okay. So the last question about the gold card is, as you just mentioned, the Trump says the order will implement in 19 days. Do you really think it's gonna be work?
I would be extremely surprised to see if we have to if there is implementation within 90 days. I would not be surprised if there's another delay, that the requirements change. We'll obviously ultimately have to wait and see. I think it's very unlikely that we'll have a resolution within 90 days.
So do you think this order will have some legal risk, or finally the court will cancel it or something stop that?
Yeah, I definitely think that if Gold Card and the H-1B ever become a reality, that there will be court challenges, and I believe that the court challenges would be successful.
Okay, thank you for providing us with so many professional insight, and we learned quite a lot about H-1B and the gold card. Both of them will have so many uncertainties. So actually, right now, I think the fastest way to get the green card is still the EB-5 new law. So, like we talked
Yes.
about earlier, the gold card will not take the EB-5's green card quotas, but EB-5 has already around for over 3 years. So
Mhm.
maybe in future we are going to face some problems from EB5, like the backlog happen. So
Mhm.
we're very lucky to have you today here with us. So I'm gonna ask you give us some insights about EB5. The first question about EB5 is about the RIA's future. We know that the grandfathering course will expire in 2027. Do you think the law might continue after that?
Yeah, I'm less optimistic today than I was this time last week that the EB5 law will be extended after September 30th, 2027. When the EB5 law was extended in 2022, the prior administration was not an opponent, not a problem, not a hindrance to the March 2022 Reform and Integrity Act. I think now, as we start, as the lobbying process toward renewing the EB5 law has already started, but I think the big difference is now we know that the Trump administration is either a direct opponent of EB5, or at a minimum has, and expressed through the gold card, different ideas of what an EB5 program should be. I'm not that optimistic that we'll have an extension of the existing EB5 law after September 30th, 2027. Um, what the new EB5 law, if any, will be, wait 2 years to find out, but I don't think whatever comes next, I don't think it will be as good as what we have today.
The second topic about AB5 is the backlog, the everybody concerned about it. So over the
Mhm.
past 3 years, the number of family applying the RAA has been increasing so much. So do you
Mhm.
think when the cutoff day will happen?
I was talking about this with someone earlier today, and I said, okay, well, when we started in earnest with the new EB5 program in September 2022, I was predicting, oh, we'll have backlogs starting summer 2024. And then in 2023, I amended my prediction to say, oh, we'll have backlogs coming summer 2025. Here we are, fall 2025, and we still don't have backlogs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we know that on paper at least they exist. We know at some point they are coming. My prediction is we probably won't start seeing backlogs to sometime next summer because the quota refreshes itself next week on October 1st. And as hopefully more and more visas are issued, then maybe we'll get to a position where come next summer we start seeing quota backlogs on paper. Ultimately, we'll find out, but I think the sum total of this is like with problems with the H-1B, the USCIS director during his Senate confirmation hearing basically came out and said that they're looking at ways to eliminate OPT for F1 graduates. So you have looming guidance on OPT that's going to be negative H-1Bs, potential backlogs for EB5. I mean, all the data point and favorable EB5 program right now, all the data points are there that EB5 for those who can do it simply must do it now because it's the really the only way of avoiding all these other problems that loom on the US immigration horizon between F1 changes,
Yeah.
H-1B, and potential backlogs. Get in the system now, and then that's the best you can do.
Thank you for that. And we thank you for your sharing your insight with us. And we're quite learn a lot. So the next part is about you and our Globevisa. Yeah, Mr.
Mhm.
Brandon, since you are expert in the EB5 space, so why did you choose to decide to be the partner with Globevisa?
So, I've been involved in EB5 and China EB5 for a very long time, and, always looking to work with experienced, qualified professionals in China. And when we were fortunately introduced to Globevisa over 3 years ago, it just seemed like such a natural fit between our operations. And so here at Meyer Law Group, we've been very impressed with the organizational quality of Globevisa, the services it provides its clients, and Globevisa is just a world-class operation company overall, and we've been delighted to be working with Globevisa over the past 3 years.
Since we get working together since the 3 years, so what's your biggest impression about Globevisa?
You not only do you provide more than just EB5 option to your clients, cover the world. If you want to go to Portugal, you want to go to Spain, you want to go to the Caribbean, Globevisa is the place that you go to for quality guidance and assurance in those programs. But I've been to all of your offices in China and Vietnam and other countries as well, and I've just been impressed by the people that work there. And so that just says a lot about, if the organization has enthusiastic, bright professionals there, that means the services that they offer will reflect the same level of quality.
Thank you, Mr. Brandon. We're so thank you for all of you and your analyze today. And
Mhm.
we get more clear about the H-1B policy and the gold card and also about our AB5. Thank you so much for being here today. And also thank you to all of you today watching this video. If you enjoy it, please subscribe our channel and share it with your friends. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you,
Okay.
Julia. Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
we finished today.